Oh my gosh, Pokemon Horizons. Pokemon Horizons has absolutely took this new series to a whole other level. I am literally speechless by how amazing episode 1 and 2 was. I still can't believe what I just watched. Liko's brand new adventure in the Pokemon world has now begun. New Pokemon, characters, friends and foes are all here, and a legendary story is about to unfold. So everyone, together, let's recap and review Pokemon Horizons episodes 1 and 2, The Pendant of Beginning part 1 and 2. We begin off with a short segment like every new Pokemon series, showing off the Pokemon world and its vast array of Pokemon. At a bus stop, we are introduced to one of our new protagonists, Liko, who is about to start her first day at her new school in Kanto, the Indigo Academy. She sees a girl who at first assumes she was greeting her, but instead she was actually greeting a friend behind Liko, making for an awkward but very relatable moment to even us as the audience. Liko sits worried about her first day, and the bus to take all the girls to school arrives. Inside, the two girls are watching popular streamer Nidothing, a brand new character in Pokemon Horizons, whose identity is currently unknown, but we do know they have a Quaxly. This is very important later. Liko says that she's a huge fan of Nidothing as well, but she doesn't know how she could start a conversation with the girls about it, which is something a lot of us can relate to when meeting new people. The bus drives through the Kanto landscape and Liko is stunned by all the Pokemon roaming around, making her super excited for a new start at Indigo Academy. Liko, a little worried but toughens up, enters the school, and we are shown a few students walking around the campus. Liko arrives at her new room to meet her roommate. What's different about Indigo Academy is it's actually a boarding school. Inside Liko's new room, there's a girl who unpacked her stuff literally everywhere, throwing Liko off guard and closing the door. This was funny. The new girl comes out and introduces herself as Anne, in which Liko's a little startled by her at first, but introduces herself back. Anne apologizes for the room mess. I can already tell I'm gonna really like this character, especially because of her bubbly personality. While Liko unpacks, she explains that she's from Paldea and she lives with her parents. The first Pokemon Anne thinks of when she said that was a Palmy. Outside, Liko and Anne watch a Pokemon battle between two trainers using a Machamp and an Espeon. Liko is worried that she might not be good at Pokemon battles, but Anne is there to encourage her that she will be good. Anne then asks her which starter Liko would pick, which she remembers that their homeroom teacher showed them all of their starters beforehand in online lessons. However, she's still undecided. Later that night, Liko sketches a picture of her friend Anne, thinking about what her starter will be. The next day comes and at assembly, the headmaster introduces everyone to Indigo Academy. In the next class, the homeroom teacher gives everyone their new starter Pokemon, and Anne gets an Oshawott, which I can wholeheartedly say is a perfect match. Nervously, Liko receives her first Pokemon, which is revealed to be, of course, Sprigatito. Liko is amazed by the cuteness of Sprigatito. However, things aren't all smooth sailing as Sprigatito scratches Liko and runs out of the classroom. This reminded me of when Ash met Pikachu, which this scene might be a little reference to that. Quickly and awkwardly, Liko chases after Sprigatito, trying her best to not make a scene in front of the other students. After a good stressful search, Liko manages to find Sprigatito on a roof, due to its scent. Liko asks Sprigatito to calm down, but then realizes it's not a good idea, with it being on the roof. But Sprigatito says otherwise, landing on Liko's face, causing him to fall down, and luckily land on a trainer's Snorlax. Sprigatito still runs away. Sunset hits at a lake, and Liko is delighted by the sight as she takes a break. Sprigatito then happens to appear from the grass to sit next to her. Liko is so happy that Sprigatito is safe, giving it a big hug, but Sprigatito doesn't like it and jumps off. Liko explains with a big why in confusion as to why Sprigatito and her are struggling to bond. At night, popular streamer Nidothing is doing their daily streams with Quaxly, talking about Pokemon battles and becoming champion, which Liko even wonders if she'll be able to win one. The next day, Liko and Sprigatito battle Anne and Oshawott, but are quickly defeated as Sprigatito attacked without Liko's command. Liko rushes over to see if Sprigatito is alright, and Anne notices that the two of them are out of sync, but Liko doesn't know as to why. The two of them agree to keep working hard. At night again, Nidothing is doing their daily streams, explaining the Pokemon types and how they work. This time, Liko and Sprigatito watch it and then decide to go out for some late night training. They train at the lake. Liko commands Sprigatito to use Leaf Edge, but it fails to do so. Liko is still confused to why the two of them aren't working well together, and Sprigatito decides to just scratch a rock. Back at their rooms, Liko gets out a special box and opens it. She is then quickly startled by Anne, who is actually awake this time, and she questions Liko what's inside. Liko explains it's a special pendant her grandmother gave to her from Paldea. Anne says it's really nice and she should wear it, which Liko agrees but says she wants to keep it in this box. Another day arrives and Liko is tired from all the late night training. She meets up with Anne later and is happy that her and Oshawa are working well together. Up in the distance though, Anne notices a flying ship, which she tries to point out to Liko, but she is completely blanked out. This ship, of course, is the Rising Volt Tackler's Cruise one, which is very important for later on. After seeing Anne and Oshawa, Liko figures out that she should learn everything about Sprigatito from its habits and traits, such as its special scent it has. On the other side of the school, we see two new characters from the Rising Volt Tackler's crew, Orla and Mollie, who Orla happens to have a picture of Liko on her Rotom phone. Orla gets a call from another member of the crew named Murdock, who exclaims that he can't find Liko anywhere. Liko happens to be on one of the school building's roofs searching for Sprigatito and finds it. This time, Liko calls for Sprigatito to come down, and Sprigatito does, allowing for a very wholesome moment as Sprigatito finally trusts Liko. At a bus stop, we see another new character from the Rising Volt Tackler's crew, Lando, who is looking for Liko, and Murdock walks past the school but is too scared to go in for some reason. Mollie and Orla are seen searching and a guy in a coat asks them for an update, but they've had no luck. At night, Liko commands Sprigatito to use Leaf Edge, however it gets tired, which Liko understands because at least they're making progress. Another day is here, however this time we see a split coloured hair boy in a black suit arrive at school. His name is Amethio. He's a new character in Pokemon Horizons and my favourite one so far. You'll know why soon. The end of the school term has arrived for the students, in which some of them are heading back home, but Liko can't as her parents are unavailable in Paldea. The two friends say goodbye, and inside the school, Amethio asks a teacher if she's seen a student by the name of Liko, who Liko happens to be walking through the door. Amethio greets Liko and gives her a letter from her grandma regarding Liko's special pendant as he wants to see it, and Sprigatito fuels with rage. This is where the episode drastically changed, showing its true darker tone, and I loved it. Liko tells Sprigatito to calm down and tells Amethio she'll get the pendant from her room. Inside, Liko is absolutely panicking, saying, "This is bad, this is bad." Why she says this is because her grandmother told her to protect the pendant and not give it to anyone, so Amethio is clearly lying. You could really feel the tension and pressure on Liko's shoulders as she was trying to escape with the pendant. Amethio knocked on the door, causing Liko to drop her box. Quickly, she grabs the pendant and her bag, and the two of them escape to the roof. Amethio knocks the door down and realizes what has happened. He uses his Rotom form to inform the rest of his members in his organization called the Explorers to capture Liko and her pendant, no matter what. Who are these members? Well, we're about to find out. Liko and Sprigatito watch the first member of the Explorers named Conia, who notifies Amethio that Liko is on the roof. Liko and Sprigatito fall down to the ground to be greeted by the second member of the Explorers, Zir, who uses a Rhydon to try capture Liko, but she doesn't back down and successfully commands Sprigatito to use Leaf Edge, but Rhydon easily blocks it and Zir laughs at Liko. Liko commands Sprigatito to use the move again, but this time uses its scent to put Rhydon to sleep, which was very clever. The two of them escape on the roof. While this is happening, Liko is really starting to panic about how all of this even happened. Amethio and Conia ask Zir where she went, and he tells them. Amethio and his team find Liko on a rooftop, telling her to stop and to hand over the pendant, but Liko says she'll never give it to them, backing off. Just as Liko is ready to escape, the leader of the Rising Volt Tackler's crew, Friede, appears on his Charizard, saying, "I finally found you to Liko." His entrance was so cool. Amethio is confused who he is, but doesn't care, and challenges him to a Pokemon battle, revealing his ace Pokemon being Ceruledge. Friede is hyped by the challenge, and Zir and Conia attempt to step in, but Amethio stops him, saying Friede is all his. The battle between the two trainers begins. Amethio commands Ceruledge for Bitter Blade, and Friede counters with Charizard using Flamethrower, completely shattering the school windows in the explosion. This was crazy. Amethio then calls for Night Slash, and Friede meets the attack with Dragon Claw, which is now orange instead of green. The first Night Slash sends Charizard flying back, and Ceruledge goes for the second, but Charizard dodges it and hits it with a powerful Flamethrower. Charizard goes for the follow-up attack, but Ceruledge quickly dodges it back in the smoke and heads back out to attack, in which Charizard also dodges back. This whole battle segment was so clean and hype as heck. The animators went crazy. Liko is completely shocked by the level of intensity and power from the two trainers. However, she quickly shakes it off thanks to Sprigatito, as the two escape past Zir, who was trying to capture them on top of the clock tower. As the two continue fighting, both Liko and Sprigatito decide to have to jump off the roof, which catches Friede off guard to what they're about to do. Amethio quickly commands for Psycho Cut, which Charizard splits the attack in two, and one of those attacks zooms past Friede. In an epic moment, just as it's about to hit, Liko and Sprigatito, who jumped off, activates her pendant, creating a hexagon terror-like dome, protecting the duo from the attack. Literally, no one saw this coming, but it revealed something legendary. Inside the hexagon dome, Liko sees a new Pokemon. Yes, the pre-evolution of the Indigo Disc DLC Pokemon, Terrapagos. I was completely lost for words when this happened, but it just goes to show that the anime does in fact tease a ton of stuff for future game releases, and this is definitely given non-Pokemon anime watchers a reason to watch. The legendary Pokemon then goes back into the pendant, making Liko and Sprigatito fall from the sky. However, just before disaster, Friede and Charizard quickly save the pair. Liko is shocked, but Friede exclaims that he shouldn't have done that, but respects her bravery to protect the pendant, making Liko and Sprigatito realize the true importance behind her special pendant. Friede tells the explorers they'll have to finish what they started another time, and Charizard flies them off into the distance. As they fly through the sky, the moon is so bright. Liko reflects on how her and Sprigatito decided to make the jump off the building, because it showed when the two of them trust each other, they can do anything. This is clearly just the start to Liko's story to greatness. However, just when we think we are getting your stereotypical happy ending, nope. Amethio is not done yet and returns his Ceruledge. The explorers transform into their true organization clothes and bring out their Pokemon, Skarmory and Corviknight, to fly after them. We focus back on Liko and Friede. Liko is worried where Friede is taking her, especially if he might be wanting to take the pendant himself, but then they arrive at the Rising Volt Tackler's cruise ship. Friede calls for the ship to reveal its battlefield, and yes, the 3D camera from XYZ is back. Thank you, Pokemon Company. The reasons why Friede asked the battlefield to be opened is because it has a safe zone, so nothing can come in or fall out. Liko thanks Charizard, and Mollie and Murdock come out to greet them. Friede and Murdock do their signature Rising Volt Tackler's handshake, and it's very unique, which I like. Liko questions why she's been brought here, and Mollie gets angry at Friede for not telling her, which he just realized he forgot. It's very clear to see that Friede gets caught up in the moment. Both of the members have a go at him, and you can tell that all of the members on this crew are also close, looking out for one another, which is good. Coco and Pommy then come out to meet Liko, and both Murdock and Mollie introduce themselves to Liko. Seeing all of the Pokemon play hits Liko with cuteness overload, but she remembers she needs to focus on what's important. Just as she's about to ask Friede, she's interrupted by the Rotom phone warning that 3 people are on their way right now. Friede commands that everyone must prepare to protect Liko and the ship. Liko is very worried but knows she has to be strong to protect the pendant, which is a trait I'm really starting to love a lot about her character, trying to overcome tough situations that are completely out of her comfort zone. As everyone prepares, the ship heads towards a yellow lightning tornado. Liko commands Orla to increase the speed of the ship. Amethio and his team quickly close in. The power then goes out and Liko starts to panic again. The tension starts to build up as they all figure out that the explorers are on their way. However, Friede and the captain of the Rising Volt Tackler's crew, Pikachu, are calm and ready. Charizard helps Orla to try speed up the ship, but it's no use. Friede instead states they're going to have to go inside the crazy storm to shake them off, and with the fire Pokemon all going full power, they manage to make a big gap between them and the explorers. For some odd reason, Quoxley is also shown on the ship being moved around by the sudden direction change, which makes me believe that one of the members on the Rising Voltacula's crew are in fact Nidothing, as we know that Nidothing also has a Quoxley, but I guess only time will tell. The explorers somehow managed to catch up onto the ship, even through the storm, shocking Friede, and now they're trying to break down the safe zone. Mollie explains to Liko that she's going out to the deck to try and increase the speed. Friede tells Murdock to take control of the ship and asks Orla for Charizard as the big battle for Liko's pendant approaches. Amethio and his team manage to break down the safe zone, and Liko and Sprigatito are all alone with the remaining Pokemon. This moment was so cool for Amethio, who puts his hair up after coming out the storm like it was nothing. But it was also very scary for Liko, who realized the explorers will find her. Pokemon Horizons so far has done an amazing job of creating tension, as I've really emphasized with how Liko has been feeling in all of this mess after just getting her first Pokemon and it's only been a few weeks. Liko tries to keep all of the Pokemon safe as the explorers enter the room. Amethio questions to why Liko refuses to give the pendant, and has Sprigatito try do a sneak attack, but that awfully fails as Conia just grabs Sprigatito in mid-air. Liko then states that she will give the pendant if they let Sprigatito and the other Pokemon be safe, which Amethio agrees. She tells the rest of the scared Pokemon that everything will be fine, and Liko goes with the explorers. We see Liko and the explorers walking out on the deck as she's being held hostage as the storm rages on. I couldn't even believe this was Pokemon, because the level of writing and serious situations was pretty much nowhere in Pokemon Journeys. It's a massive step up. Just as Liko is about to leave with the explorers, Friede comes rushing in with his Charizard and Pikachu saying they are not leaving with Liko. Friede and Amethio introduce themselves to each other, and man, this scene was hype. You could feel the pressure between the two leaders as none of them were backing down an inch, which brings us to round 2 of Friede versus Amethio, Captain Pikachu versus Ceruledge. Friede commands Pikachu to use Thunder Punch, but Ceruledge easily blocks it. Pikachu uses Double Team to get in close, but Ceruledge uses Psycho Cut to get rid of the fakes. However, that was a part of Friede's plan, who calls for Pikachu to use Thunder Punch behind Ceruledge. Quickly, Amethio commands Ceruledge to attack using its swords. However, Pikachu easily dodges in a flash. Friede smiles menacingly. We then see Pikachu use the Storm to power itself up. Friede commands Pikachu to use a super powerful Volt Tackle. This move looks so epic animation wise as it pushed Ceruledge all the way into the safe zone. Desperately though, Amethio counters with Psycho Cut, deflecting Pikachu off its course. Liko tells everyone to stop fighting because she doesn't want to see the ship and Pokemon get hurt, so she would rather give the pendant. However, Sprigatito disagrees with her, telling Liko to fight against Amethio to protect the pendant instead of running away. This scene was so crucial to Liko's character, as she decides to stand up and protect what is closest to her, even if the wall ahead is so big, which I love so much. Liko commands Sprigatito to this time use what looks to be a super powerful leafage. This move headed straight for Amethio. Luckily in time, his Ceruledge blocked the attack. Liko and Sprigatito were amazed in happiness by their strength, and even Friede and Pikachu were lost for words. The explosion of the leaf attack was so huge, and it completely broke through the safe zone on the ship. Due to the heavy storm, everyone starts sliding down the battlefield. Friede saves Liko in time, but his foot misses to save Sprigatito, who falls off the ship, but Amethio's Corviknight saves it. Amethio uses this as the perfect opportunity to take Sprigatito as hostage, and Liko screams with all of her heart for Sprigatito as they fly away, concluding Pokemon Horizons episode 1 and 2 with a major cliffhanger. Wow man, Pokemon Horizons, what a beginning, they did it. I am absolutely blown away by what I just watched. I was expecting Pokemon Horizons to be a big step up from Pokemon Journeys, but I wasn't expecting it to be like this. Episode 1 and 2 were just excellent. I loved all of the new characters being brought in. Liko was amazing. I really loved Friede and the Rising Voltacula's crew. The explorers were awesome, especially Amethio, as of right now, has been solidified as my favorite character in the series so far. Everything about Pokemon Horizons has been a major step up, from the writing, the animation, and even some of the music. In my opinion, episode 1 and 2 blows the first bunch of Pokemon Journeys episodes out of the water. It really seems as if this anime isn't going down the random episodic route anymore, or even a light-hearted one as of that. They are going down a darker, more serious, more mature tone for this anime, which so many of us have wanted for so long, ever since Pokemon XY, because it really works. Another thing I loved was the fact that Liko has connection to Terrapagos, with Liko literally being the protector of that Pokemon, and the DLC for that game hasn't even been released yet. So the fact that the anime is bringing in new Pokemon and a new story as well, it's literally perfect, and it's going to bring in so many new fans to watch the new anime. I'm literally still hyped and speechless that Pokemon Horizons really just pulled off this new series. I cannot wait for the future of Liko and Roy's stories. This new series is where it's at. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a like to help me make more long-based content for all of you, as this video did take me quite a long time to make. Also subscribe for all new future Pokemon anime related content, like the new Pokemon Horizons anime.